Golly, CD, did you eat a lamb? This man look huge. CeeDee Lamb has been putting in some serious work this offseason amid his holdout. And I gotta say, brother, you've been doing your damn thing. Apparently, CeeDee Lamb has put on 15 pounds of muscle. And I can tell you right now, just even by looking at this image right here next to me, look at it. By looking at that image, I know y'all can tell. He really has put on 15 pounds of muscle. And it's probably all in his arms, bro. This man looked like he could stiff arm a Tonka truck right now. Let's get right into this as we discuss CeeDee Lamb's development and something that I think we owe Micah Parsons, and that's to have a conversation about something that he has become much improved with. And all I have to say is kudos to you, young man. You should have shut everyone up that had anything to say about your leadership. Let's get right into this.
Oh, and for those of y'all that really want to support the channel, y'all tell me all the time how much y'all love and enjoy the content and how much y'all love and enjoy the Dallas Cowboys. Well, why don't you support something that puts both of those things together and check out the official Dak Attack OG merch line on Bonfire. Whether it's a t-shirt, a hoodie, a sweatshirt, you can copy you some Dak Attack merch with the signature for a logo on it in cream, royal blue, black, white, a variety of different colors for affordable pricing. Be sure to check the link out in the pinned comment and description below. Help support your boy. Let's get back to the video.
All right, so we see here, CD, man, just look at this specimen right here. Look at this specimen. CeeDee Lamb is absolutely huge. Why was this necessary? What was probably the flashpoint that made him decide it was time for him to put a little bit more weight on? Well, for one, I imagine the NFL grind of a season and him understanding that he's probably going to be getting 120 plus targets every year for the rest of his prime while he's playing with the Cowboys. So he needs to be prepared to take on that physicality that comes along with that type of attention. Beyond that, I remember very keenly that Green Bay Packer game, and something that I saw early in that game that I just did not like was the fact that I felt like CD allowed the Packers DB to get way too physical with him, and I honestly think some of that physicality took CeeDee Lamb out of the game from a mental standpoint. Early on in the game at least, and that was probably the reason why we were seeing him drop passes or him run kind of shaky routes, is because the other guy was getting extremely physical. He was bucking up on him after plays and bumping into him and chest bumping him and doing all this other stuff, and CD was like, you know what? Weight room, time to get big. He had to follow the lead of his starting all-pro quarterback, go into the weight room and get big. And I like to see this from CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't like he put too much weight on that bottom half. If anything, he just looks a little bit stronger down there. I don't think this is going to affect CeeDee Lamb from an on-field standpoint as it pertains to anything negative, because CeeDee Lamb isn't necessarily a burner. He's not looked at as a receiver that's just going to dust everybody. He's not like a vertical stretch the field type of guy. CeeDee Lamb is a purebred receiver. He's a guy that can line up on any part of the field and do what he needs to do to get open and run any part of the route tree. Him adding extra size and strength and making himself stronger, that's going to do nothing but kind of expand his quarterback's catch radius, to be honest, because now he can kind of use his body the way a tight end would to kind of box out the smaller DB. And that's just going to help him be able to break through contact or run through contact or just play stronger football, play a more physical brand of football. And this right here, this is right in line with everything else that we've seen from the Cowboys. The Cowboys have had one theme all summer long: physicality and just getting tougher, playing a more physical, tough brand of football. You can see that with the draft picks they brought in. You can see that with the players that they brought in free agency. All the guys that they brought in free agency that are suspected to play a decent role on this team, all of them are tough, physical, nasty dudes that have a certain disposition that this team was absolutely missing. We don't need any more of the golf club dudes. We need dudes that ate beans and weenies growing up, all right? So CeeDee Lamb adding to his physicality, to me, this is just the team finally getting on one accord, and you're starting to see a culture really kind of take place with this Cowboys team. And speaking of culture, one Micah Parsons is 100% contributing to this culture. This is now the second time in about a week that we have seen something from Micah Parsons from a leadership standpoint that I believe is worth covering. I believe is worth the discussion because all of the deficiencies that he had as a leader were worth covering. So damn sure any growth that he experiences or he displays as a leader, I'm for sure going to cover because it's only fair to him. It's only fair to the people that love him. It's only fair to his fans that we do things that way. I was one of the people that while I didn't think we needed to trade Micah, while I wasn't out on Micah or anything like that, I didn't go to an extreme. I was one of the people that challenged Micah Parsons because I wanted to see him live up to the things that he was talking about. He was talking about becoming a better leader. He was talking about the things that he needed to do to make himself better, to make his team better. He is the one that placed those expectations on his shoulders, and I was someone that wanted to hold him accountable and make sure that he lived up to the things that he was telling us as fans, because at the end of the day, no one was forcing him to volunteer that information. So yeah, I'm going to hold you to that if you're just putting it out in the ether for all of us to consume. And Micah Parsons has absolutely lived up to everything he was talking about. He's absolutely been doing everything that he and CeeDee Lamb was talking about that they were going to do during training camp. I guess before CeeDee thought that he was going to have to hold out for his contract. But Micah Parsons, man, he was tutoring and getting in extra conditioning with Mazi Smith after practice. Why is this a big deal? Well, for one, he doesn't have to do this, y'all. Mazi isn't even really in his position group, so he really doesn't have to do this. But Micah identified this guy as someone that's going to be important to the success of this team. Micah Parsons wanted him on his team originally, and he's identified, more importantly, as a leader. He's identified what's probably one of the biggest things holding Mazi Smith back at this point, and that's his conditioning and his endurance throughout a game. Mazi is a very, very strong, talented young man, but he wears down quickly. He's a little undersized in the position he plays. It's going to make him wear down even more quickly, and I love to see Micah doing this, man. He's taking that extra time. He's taking that extra step with Mazi to help this man get his conditioning right and to at least kind of put Mazi on a proper path to training himself in a way to where he's a pro athlete and he'd be prepared for a 17-game plus NFL season. I absolutely love this. You can only ask Micah to do so much. You can't ask him to actually work for these guys. You can't ask him to do anything more than at least steering them in the right direction and putting them on the right path, and this is exactly that. And Mazi Smith isn't the only guy that Micah Parsons has exhibited this newfound leadership with. He did the same thing with Marshawn Kneeland. Marshawn Kneeland talked to reporters the other day and said that Micah Parsons has been watching film with him, and he's been watching Cam Jordan film specifically with him to kind of teach him the game, break down what he's saying, break down what he feels like that Marshawn Kneeland is capable of doing, and stuff like that. That goes a very, very long way when you're not only with your guys on the field, but when you're with your guys in the film room and these younger dudes feel like one of the best players in the NFL truly believes in them. Trust me, bro, that goes a very, very long way. It's like joining a high school football team and you finally getting the respect from the juniors and seniors on that team and you're an underclassman. It goes a long way from a confidence standpoint, and just from a team standpoint, it's going to benefit everyone ultimately, because now each one teach one. Mazi can take that same work ethic, take that same lesson, take that same gesture and give it to the next person that needs it, and so on and so on. And that's how you create a culture within a franchise, within an organization. This type of stuff right here is how you do that. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, the season. Shut up. We're talking about other things other than the actual outcome of the games. We're talking about all of the facets of football. I wish y'all would stop this. Like, we can't even have football discussions. We can't talk about positive things that these guys are doing because you guys have your thumb so far up your ass crying about the damn playoffs. Just period. Like, stop it. We can talk about the sport without having to go back and talk about the misery of losing. It's not just us. So let's stop. Let's actually appreciate what these players are doing. Let's appreciate the growth that they display. Let's appreciate the entertainment and the good times that they give us and the good product that they give us for 90% of the season. Appreciate that. Be sad when they lose and then get over it and keep things in perspective. Work on your own life, man. That's all I got to say, but I love what I'm seeing from Micah Parsons because Micah has held up his end of the bargain, and I got to hold up mine. We still same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the ball? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still the them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.